Keeping up with today's fast-paced world can be difficult. Accelerate your life with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Surf, stream, and game like never before. Give us a call at 509-754-2600 and find out more at ifiber.tv.
My name's Ian Elliott. I'm currently retired, living in Ellensburg.
My name is Danny Stone. I live up in Elmira, Washington, and I'm in agriculture.
My name is Alex Ibarra, and I'm from Quincy, Washington. I work for Grant County PUD in Ephrata, Washington.
One of 3 men will be chosen Monday to replace Matt Manweller, the 13th District State Legislator who resigned over allegations of sexual harassment and misconduct. County commissioners from the counties within the district will vote to select Ian Elliott, Danny Stone, or Alex Ibarra for the post. Whoever is chosen must get a running start. The January 14th selection takes place the same day Washington's legislature comes back into session for 2019.
I grew up in Oregon, so I'm a Northwest native. I went to Oregon State University, an engineer. I also wrestled there. I'm a honorably discharged from the United States Army. I still hold the oath I took to defend the Constitution firmly. Over the years, my wife and I owned construction companies that employed up to 100 people. I was in the Washington State Legislature, focused on education and transportation, natural resources.
Well, I spent almost 29 years up in Stevens County, and I was a pastor up there for those years, and I was also a high school coach for 21 years. I became a PCO with the Lincoln County Republicans, which is a precinct committee officer for the Elmira precinct, and in 2014 then moved to the family farm, became a PCO in Grant County because it's 2 miles across the line into Grant County, and served as a legislative chair for the Grant County Executive Board.
In 2011, I applied as a school board member in Quincy, Washington, and so I won the election and have been there ever since. So my job as a legislative rep is to go and listen to representatives and senators and bills and try to figure out what that means to Quincy, to our school district and our kids at the end of the day. I was on the board of directors for WASDA and did that for 2 years, and then, in October, September, I was voted as the vice president of WASDA. In general, most of us have water issues. Kittitas County, Yakima County, they have water issues. There's less water, so when we had the Hearst decision that happened last year where Eastern Washington wasn't able to build any more wells to get water to new buildings and things, that really hurt Eastern Washington.
As a farmer, I hear about and I see things coming down the pipeline that are what I consider to be overregulation. An illustration of that is last session. There was a proposal to make our farmers, any applicator give a 4-day notice before spraying pesticides, whether it's from the air or from our ground rigs. And that's obviously coming from somebody that doesn't understand agriculture.
The Growth Management Act has some structural issues, and a lot of them are centered around small counties. The thing was really designed for the other side of the hill. We live with whatever the statewide decisions were. I'm a proponent of a small diameter logging operation in order to fulfill the needs of the Healthy Forest Act. And so in order to do that and to reduce the catastrophic fires, we need to manage our forests. And we're not doing a good job of managing our forests. I don't have an answer for that. From my perspective, if you don't walk the walk, you're subject to whatever. I hold myself up to be a moral, straightforward person, and if for some reason it's found out I'm not, well, it's appropriate that I have to, fight that battle. So that's going to be true on every individual basis of every legislator there is. So one would hope that the electorate is going to elect people who are like their electorate. A good example, there's lots of examples of elected people who've got caught doing some pretty strange things, and their electorate doesn't care. Marion Barry comes to mind.
I don't know that I have a good answer for you, but I'll give you some of my personal background. Is that I think that as a married man, I have a responsibility to the person that I've committed to honor them in the way I interact with members of the opposite sex. And I think that the foremost and most important thing that legislators can do is guard themselves from being in situations where their integrity and their morality could be questioned. When I was serving in a variety of ways, whether it was a pastor or a coach, I had to make obvious decisions that did not put me in compromising situations, whether it was with a young lady or whether it was with a lady that was a part of our church. I didn't put myself in private situations with them, whether, when a young lady's walking down the street, she's one of the members of your team that you coach, she's walking down the street in pouring rain and you feel really sorry for her that she's had to walk home in this rain. But as a coach and as a married man, I made decisions that said, I can't pick her up. I may go back and get one of her fellow team members, one of the guys on the team, and say, let's go take so-and-so home because it's pouring rain out here. But, that happened. I don't remember that happening because we just have to make good decisions. And I think every legislator needs to self-regulate as to the kind of positions they put themselves in where people could question them or accuse them. And so that's the first step. Now, as far as a regulatory commission or how do we address these accusations, I think, first of all, you go to them face-to-face and say, well, whoever leadership is, and say, did you do this? This person is saying this, and we confront it one-on-one. And if they seem to be credible accusations, then I think maybe there is a place for, a group of people to sit down and say, what is happening here? And because these accusations are serious.
I think the legislature is going in the right direction. I think that they are putting those procedures and policies in place. Grant County PUD does the same thing. We have procedures and policies in place. We get training in order to make sure that we don't cross any lines that could potentially be crossed. And so I think that I think that they're doing exactly what everybody else is doing. They're just, depending on the industry, I think that the legislature, just because of who they are and they're public elected officials, they're in the eye of everybody, so you may not hear things that are happening at other companies just because they're not in the public eye, where a representative and a senator would be. And so I think they get a lot more news articles written about them just because of who they are. But at the same time, I think no matter the industry, everybody has their bad eggs, I think, unfortunately.